Thank you, everybody. I just want to acknowledge those leaders that come in from other areas, Redder, Troll Lake, I think it's here, Cumberland House, and the council members. I know the summer games are on right now, but I do want to also introduce Ralph Goodale, who's deputy leader of the National Liberal Party of Canada. Ralph is here. And also my leader is here, my wife Priscilla is here, along with my daughter Karina and our grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so privileged and proud to present to you our future Prime Minister, the Honourable Justin Trudeau.
Thank you, Lawrence. It's an incredible pleasure for me to be here back in northern Saskatchewan and to be able to highlight the incredible voice and strength that Lawrence is offering to this community, to be a strong voice for you in Ottawa, and not just, as we get far too often, Ottawa's voice here in your community. I want to thank Grand Chief Ron Michel, Chief Tammy, and Elder Albert, and the Archbishop for all their warm welcomes and the great conversations we've had today. One of the things about my job as leader of the Liberal Party, and one of the things about the job of Prime Minister, is that you have to get out there. You have to meet people. You have to talk with people about their challenges and the opportunities we need to meet together. We have to talk about the kind of future we want to build for ourselves, for our kids, for our grandkids. We need to talk about the kind of country we want to live in. And all too often, those conversations don't happen. We elect someone to go off to Ottawa, we vote for a Prime Minister, and we never hear from them again until election time. And that's why one of the things that I've been doing over the past few years is getting out to communities just like this right across the country to meet with you all, to listen to you, to talk about the kind of challenges you're facing and how federal government needs to step up and address them. And obviously there are big challenges, and Tammy and Ron spoke very knowledgeably about many of them, whether it's making sure that we reach parity, we close the funding gap for First Nations education, whether it's around making sure we're investing in healthcare so our communities can stay as healthy as possible, whether it's looking at economic opportunity that understands that yes, we need jobs and growth, which means yes, we need resource development, but we need to do it in a way that protects our land, our air, our water, and our kids' and grandkids' future. That's what we have to pull together, all of us. There'll be time for questions shortly, men. The fact is, we need to understand that you can't make a choice between what's good for the environment and what's good for the economy. We have to do them both together, and that happens by sitting down, talking with each other about how we build a better future, how we keep our land safe, and how we prepare the opportunities for coming generations. This is about leadership that we want in this country, a leadership that is respectful, that is focused on partnerships and collaboration. And in order to do that, we need all of you to get involved. You know, for too long, individuals across this country have thrown up their hands and said, you know what, it doesn't make a difference to vote. It doesn't make a difference to get involved in politics. Nothing much changes. Well, right now we have an opportunity to make a change. We have an opportunity to bring forward a government that's going to understand that you don't build a strong economy by continuing to give tax breaks and advantages to the wealthiest people. You build a strong economy by making sure that everyone has the help and the opportunity they need to be able to succeed. That's what the Liberal Party is focused on. We're putting forward a tax break for middle-class families by raising taxes on the wealthiest. We're putting forward a kind of child benefit that, unlike Mr. Harper's UCCB, which goes to every family, including the wealthiest families, we said, you know what? If you're making over $200,000 a year, you probably don't need a government check to help with the cost of raising your kids. So what we're doing is we're actually making sure that families who really need it get that help. So if a low-income family making $30,000 a year will get about $533 a month for one kid under 6 years old, tax-free. Middle-class families will get thousands of dollars more because we're not doing more for the wealthiest families. And one of the things that we need in order to make this change is for people to believe once again that politics can be about change. The politics doesn't have to be about attacks and negativity. It doesn't have to make you throw up your hands and say, oh, I don't want to vote, it'll just encourage them. We want to be able to know that people can get involved and have their voices heard. And that's why, for me, having an extraordinary voice like Lawrence's speaks strongly for Northern Saskatchewan. Make sure that the issues that you're facing in your daily lives resonate, but also make sure that you have a leader who is willing to come out, meet with you, listen to you, break bannock with you, and hopefully take a few selfies if anyone wants some. So this approach is what it's all about for me, and I'm very much looking forward to meeting with you all. And I know you've all been waiting very, very patiently because the speeches have to be done before we serve the food. So I will take that question that Miss has very, very quickly, and then we will go on to actually breaking bread together and enjoying it. So yes, what was your question?
What about Bill C-51?
Oh, excellent question. You may have noticed that the Harper government put forward a anti-terrorism legislation following the terrorist attacks of last year. Canadians know that we need our government to do two really important things. We need to keep us safe, and they need to protect our rights and freedoms. Now, Mr. Harper doesn't think we need to do anything more to protect our rights and freedoms. And he's wrong on that. Mr. Mulcair, on the other side, doesn't think we need to do anything more to protect our security. And I think he's wrong on that. The Liberal Party has taken a balanced position, saying we need to protect our safety, because there are significant measures in that bill that protect Canadian safety, but we need to do it at the same time as we're defending our rights and freedoms. Now, unfortunately, there's people out there who are stirring up fears. Mr. Harper wants us to believe that there might be a terrorist hiding behind every leaf and rock. Well, that's not true. But Mr. Mulcair also wants us to believe that suddenly we're going to be in a police state, that we're going to rip up the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Well, that's not true as well. And both of those are the kinds of politics of fear that, quite frankly, are irresponsible and not what the Liberal Party has always stood for. In the years following 9/11, we put forward responsible legislation that did both, that protects Canadians and defends our rights and freedoms, and that's exactly what the Liberal Party is going to do moving forward, because we do believe that you can have a responsible government that gets it all right. Canadians deserve that. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
The person going to start serving the back and I'm going to come around.